Here comes Hewy, gonna give you the news. Time to watch his animated movie reviews, whether hand-drawn, CGI, puppets or clay. If you've got a good story, you'll be making his day. See you at the movies, cartoon movies. See you at the movies, hold on to. See you at the movies, like nobody's biz. Hey, see you at the movies, animated movies that is.
Hey everyone, I'm Hewy Toolmore. Welcome to Hewy's Animated Movie Reviews, the show where I review animated films of older recent, whether they be hand-drawn, stop-motion, or computer-generated. Well, I've already talked about one former Disney animator this season, and thanks to a generous Patreon donation by one Mr. Greg Nunman, I get to talk about another. And this time it's one of my favorites, Andreas Deja. Born in the Polish People's Republic on April 1st, 1957, Andreas Deja served as the supervising animator for such classic characters as Roger Rabbit and Baby Herman from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, King Triton from The Little Mermaid, Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, Jafar from Aladdin, Scar from The Lion King, Hercules, Lilo from Lilo and Stitch, and Mama Odie and Juju from The Princess and the Frog. Wow! 3 villains, 4 supporting characters, and 3 lead protagonists. Not a bad portfolio for a guy who's been in the industry as long as he has. He even got to animate Mickey Mouse himself in the 2 theatrical shorts, The Prince and the Pauper from 1990 and Runaway Brain from 1995, and even served as an animation consultant on 2 of Disney's direct-to-video sequels, Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas and Bambi 2. He's also openly homosexual. You know, this would explain a couple of things.
Be prepared for sensational news.
Queer-coded villains. One of the many reasons I'll take the animated originals over their live-action remakes any day. Deja would eventually leave the company in 2011 to start a personal blog where he shares some of his personal collection of Disney's early animation work. He stated that one of his personal ambitions is to publish a book about each of Disney's famous 9 old men, some of whom he spoke with personally. However, unlike Aaron Blaise, he would never get to direct a feature film during his time at the company. Fortunately, he would get to make his directorial debut with an independent animated short that took him 10 years to make. And that is what we're here to review today. So, released to various animation festivals on April 15th, 2023, and online streaming on December 15th, 2025, the short is Mushka. The short opens with a young woman named Sarah boarding a train in the latter part of Soviet-era Russia to travel on the famed Trans-Siberian Railroad. After a little girl startles her with a stuffed toy tiger, Sarah reminisces about the time when she was a little girl living with her grandmother in Moscow as they celebrate the New Year. Gifted a new doll, Sarah's having a wonderful time, but when her grandmother leaves the room to get dessert for their feast... Oh dear. We then cut to a hospital as a doctor lets Sarah into a room, where Grandma is very much alive, thank goodness, having simply taken a fall and hurt her leg. Still, she's in no condition to be looking after Sarah for now, so the girl must travel to stay with her father, who runs a lumber company in Siberia. However, the train ride she takes isn't exactly the friendliest, as everyone just gives her dirty looks. You know, I think Andreas is trying to tell us something about the company he used to work for with that bit. The train comes to a stop at a small station right at the edge of the great taiga pine forest as Sarah gets off and meets up with her father, who kinda looks like an older, more worn-down version of Gaston. I'm not kidding, see? Dare to compare? Anyway, the two get into his pickup truck and drive to the father's, let's say, office. And sheesh, what a rough-looking bunch he employs.
Hey, boss!
I mean, I get they're a little put out because of this, but come on, guys! It's your boss's little girl. At least try to make her feel welcome until she can go home, okay? Sarah's dad warns her never to go beyond the fence of the compound, as the forest is very dangerous. Saying her room is upstairs, he simply leaves to return to work. Sarah takes the chance to explore her father's workplace, and we can get a vibe on it from the various sparse decorations, including a picture of Vladimir Lenin on the wall. Ah, I see he gave her the Cinderella suite.
As she tries to contemplate this turn in her life, Sarah becomes aware of the sound of whistling and goes to her window, seeing a young boy using a hose to clean off some of the equipment, with mixed results.
Yep, he's the love interest, all right.
As Sarah explores her new domicile, she comes upon her father's bedroom, which kind of reminds me of the scene in Beauty and the Beast where Belle sneaks into the West Wing, only less grand in scale. There she discovers a framed photograph of her mother on the night table.
What are you doing? You'll break her.
I was just...
Help me, Mashinka. I do not know what to do.
So it looks like Sarah's father isn't such a bad guy after all. He's just sad and unsure of his fitness to even be in his daughter's life. Glad they showed this early on so you don't get the wrong idea about him.
Sarah runs outside and, after contemplating all that's happened thus far, breaks down and cries near the fence. It is there, thanks to the adorable antics of the red squirrel, that she discovers a small hole big enough for her to fit through, crawls through it, tearing her coat in the process, and finds her way into the legendary trails of Russia's taiga forest. Sarah walks on through the dappled sunlight, taking in the wonders of Russia's natural world, until she comes across something unexpected.
Unexpectedly adorable!
Taken in by the cub's adorable nature and fascinated by the M-shaped marking on its forehead, Sarah begins to play with it, only to quickly find out that where there's a Siberian tiger cub, the mother is never far away.
Oh damn.
Thankfully, the mama tiger instead just brings Sarah back to her father's office with her coat in her mouth.
Oh, phew. Emotional roller coaster over here.
Well, not that it makes a difference to a concerned father and his men. As Sarah's father gets her inside, his men pursue the mother tiger and...
Bambi's mother flashbacks. Bambi's mother flashbacks.
Flushed with their prize, the three workers don't notice the boy from earlier shadowing them. Meanwhile, Sarah wakes up and comes downstairs, finding her father has left a piece of toast and some tea for her. A humble attempt maybe, but he is trying. As she starts on her breakfast, there's a knock at the door, which turns out to be the boy holding the now orphan tiger cub. Sarah asks her father if she can keep him. His answer?
He'll grow into a monster. Well, I suppose. For a while.
Thank you, Father.
So Sarah adopts the tiger cub, whom she names Mushka, on account of the M marking on his head.
Not to mention that the name Mushka is a Russian word meaning little one with big eyes, and is used as a term of endearment towards young children. I thought it was the word used for someone's grandma. That's babushka, Pete. Oh. Wait, whose film is you anyway?
As the months pass, Sarah lovingly cares for Mushka, who soon grows into a strong young male tiger. One thing I have to mention is that the expression on Mushka's face never changes throughout the entire short, as he never shows any real outer emotion. Now, while somewhat off-putting at first, it makes sense. Tigers, like most real-life cats, lack most of the muscles used to render facial expressions and usually make their feelings known with sound and body language. This reminds me a lot of Marahute, the great golden eagle from Disney's The Rescuers Down Under, and how she expressed her emotions through the movement of her body and feathers.
I like that Andreas Deja decided to go this route with the tiger, instead of trying to anthropomorphize him for the sake of making the animation more cutesy or child-friendly.
As it must, even as far north as Russia, spring comes and... Oh, I knew it!
Love interest confirmed!
Anyway, Sarah's father's proven right, as Mushka has now become so big that he takes up the whole bed, much to the interest of his three employees outside. One day over lunch...
So, this boy next door.
Alex? He's nice. Mushka likes him too.
Oh, so now they give him a name! And with only 15 minutes left in the short...
Before the conversation can go further, Mushka causes the entire building to shake from upstairs. Going up to check on him, Sarah is shocked to see that he has torn apart the doll her grandmother gave her. But rather than being mad at the tiger, Sarah instead tries to hide what he did when her father checks in on them.
He's become very big.
Well, thanks, comrade points out the obvious ski.
But he is right. Not only has Mushka grown bigger, but also seemingly become more aggressive, as Sarah worries about what will happen to her pet if he begins to show such aggression around real people rather than toys. One night, Alex is chopping wood when he notices movement coming from inside the office building. Coming to the window, he sees Sarah's father enjoying a friendly game of cards with his employees, who are a trio of dirty cheats. As the game continues, and Sarah's father runs out of money, the three note Mushka's leash hanging on a hat rack and suggest that Sarah's father give them the tiger for collateral.
Because, hey, they already killed the mama tiger, so of course they want to kill the baby the boss's daughter has been lovingly raising for months now.
Alex climbs up to the roof and wakes up Sarah by tapping on her window, warning her about how the employees cheated her father out of Mushka. Knowing full well what they'll do to the tiger, the two children sneak Mushka out of the house through the window. However, with all the noise they make, they quickly alert everyone downstairs. Before Sarah's father can try and take control of the situation, he is swiftly knocked out by his three treacherous employees as they go off to hunt down Mushka and the kids through the forest. As they try to keep ahead of their pursuers, Sarah, Alex, and Mushka find themselves at the same stone outcrop where Mushka's mother made her den.
I'm sorry, Mushka, but you have to leave now. I said go, Mushka! Go away, Mushka! Get out of here now!
Come on, does this bit ever actually work? I mean, I get she wants Mushka to run ahead of the employees and be safe, but I doubt he's just going to run away from the only family he's ever known.
Seeing the employees catching up to them, Alex quickly leads them toward a river, flowing too fast and deep to be frozen over. Thinking quickly, Sarah and Alex push Mushka into the river, knowing he can swim away and be safe.
Hey, could be worse. He could have ended up like all those cats used for Milo and Otis. I'm not kidding. Look it up. Ruin the movie for me.
The employees catch up to the children and demand to know where Mushka is, only for it to be revealed that he secretly climbed out of the river and has now gone around behind them. The leader of the three begins to take shots with his rifle, but Mushka is too fast, evading the blasts until...
No more bullets!
Mushka then charges into the open, positioning himself to defend Sarah and Alex from the three would-be poachers.
Uh-oh, I don't like where this is going.
Mushka, no!
Phew, that was too close. Not saying he didn't deserve to end up cat food, mind you, but this is supposed to be for families.
However, it looks as though Mushka's leg was injured from the gunfire, though it appears only to be a slight wound. Seeing that both children are safe, Mushka stalks his way back into the depths of the taiga.
Sarah! Oh, thank goodness.
Father!
There, little one. Let the tears come.
Sometime later, Sarah, her father, and Alex are cheerfully preparing dinner when a telegram from Sarah's grandmother arrives, informing them that she is feeling much better. However, Sarah is still worried for her and decides it's for the best that she go back to Moscow and take care of her, much to the despair of her father and Alex. Back in Moscow, Sarah shows her grandmother a scrapbook of her time with her father, especially Mushka, much to her grandmother's surprise. And as the years pass, Sarah grows into a beautiful and studious young woman, showing a keen interest in the study of Russia's native big cats, until we catch up to where we came in, with Sarah cleaning out her now-deceased grandmother's apartment and preparing to return to Siberia, where she, her father, and Alex have started a wildlife preserve, having just adopted twin tiger cubs, both of which have a familiar mark on their foreheads.
And so that was Mushka. What did I think of it? Well, I gotta say, for Andreas Deja's directorial debut, I'd say he stuck the landing, as I enjoyed it very much.
As stated earlier, it took Andreas 10 whole years to complete this short, which is 7 years longer than it took Aaron Blaise to finish Snow Bear, and the time he put into the project really shows. He chose to center the short around a tiger because it was an animal he had never animated before.
I mean, yeah, he animated a lion before, but a tiger is a completely different animal.
I think it comes down to a sketch that I bought by German illustrator Heinrich Klei. It was a sketch of a tiger, a grown tiger, and a woman sort of leaning on him. The idea might have started based on that sketch, a girl and a tiger.
Of course, Andreas did provide some animation, but he wasn't alone in his endeavor, as he was assisted by storyboard artist and editor Matthew Segecchi, along with many others. Speaking of the animation, I very much like the very sketchy style it has, which is very reminiscent of the animated films of Disney's Xerox period of the 1960s, such as 101 Dalmatians and The Jungle Book, as well as the short based on the story of John Henry released in 2000. It also reminds you a bit of Don Bluth's work, with how some of the characters move and express emotions. And that one employee with a large mustache looks like it came right out of Anastasia, but that's just me. Another thing I liked was the animation on all the vehicles. Unlike other modern hand-drawn films, shorts, or TV shows where all the vehicles are depicted with computer animation, all the vehicles, from the trains to the cars, are all hand-drawn, just like the rest of the short, and that is something I feel is lacking in animation these days, as I feel it shows the extra time and effort put in by hand. Another thing to note is the music, composed by Italian-American composer Fabrizio Mancinelli, which is the first original work he has composed, instantly transporting the listener into the Slavic world and feeling authentic enough that you would believe it must have been composed by someone of Russian descent. And we also get an original song that plays during the end credits, written by the legendary Richard M. Sherman, who sadly passed away 1 year after the short's release at the age of 95, making it one of the last projects he ever worked on.
I just try to write what's appropriate for the subject, and the story is everything. The character, the very reason is what gets us going. I think the story was so beautiful, it moved me, and I'm sure it will move you, and it will move the world because it's a good story.
Well, it certainly moved me. Thank you, Richard, for all you and your brother Robert contributed to countless childhoods with your wonderful music and songs. You certainly went out with a beautiful swan song. Rest in peace. And now for my final thoughts.
Overall, Mushka is a delightful story of family, friendship, and coming together despite all the odds stacked against you. The animation is beautiful, the characters are all memorable, and the music just ties it all together. Like Snow Bear, it shows that hand-drawn animation can still make an impact and tug at one's heartstrings. If you wish to see it for yourself, it's currently streaming on Amazon Prime, and I highly recommend that you take the half hour out of your day to see it. With all that said, I proudly give Mushka my highest rating of 5 gold stars. Well done, Andreas Deja, to you and all your collaborators. 10 years of devoted hard work, and it certainly paid off.
Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me again for my next review. See the movies. Anime movies, that is.